So if my website has to be in that same range or I won't have a chance. If your authority is greater than the keyword difficulty, you've got a chance. In other words, you've got to be in that same range as those other sites in there. So, example, I'm not this company, I don't know this company, I've never met them, it's not a client, I just picked a random website. The Chicago Beer Experience. They do like these tours where you go to drink beer, like bike pub crawls, stuff like that. Great idea, right? Ride bikes and get drunk. Chicago Beer Authority has a page, the home page is an authority of 33. Now, if I can score, people tease me because they say I don't know about sports. I do know a little bit about sports. Just bear with me. If you can score 33 sports points, what sport should you play? Heather's seen this. What sport should you, basketball? You're going to lose every basketball game though, right?
As a team or individual?
Just that like, the game is over, your team scored 33 points.
Okay.
What, did you win the game? You lost the basketball game for sure. Football, you probably won you could win football games with 33 sports points. They're just called points, football points. What do you call a football point? Just points. Okay. Baseball, how many, you're gonna win every baseball game you play, right? With 33 baseball points, no one can beat you. You're gonna crush, you're gonna win all the baseball sports games. They're called runs. I knew that one. Hockey, are you gonna ever lose a hockey game? If your team can score 33 hockey points, find every hockey game you can play and go play it, right? Definitely go play hockey. Soccer, yeah, you're gonna win. Okay, so you asked this, so we're the agency, they're the client, Chicago Beer Experience. What phrases would you hope to rank for? How about beer? Nope. That's like a basketball, that's like a high-scoring football game. We're a 33, right? We have no chance of ranking for beer. It's a one-word phrase. How about Chicago bars? 45? 45 is a lot more than 33. Remember, it's an exponential logarithmic scale. So keep adding words. How about Chicago Beer Tour? Longer, more specific, fewer people searching, but far easier to rank. That's the game. That's SEO. That's how it works. They rank #1 for Chicago Beer Tour. You have to know what your authority is, and you have to know the relative competition for the phrase. Because every key phrase is a competition, and every page is a competitor. If you ever wonder, like, or someone that says, you're like, oh, why don't I rank for that? Oh, do you have a page about that? No. Okay, then don't expect to rank. You're not competing for the competition. Why don't I rank for that? I have a page. Okay, is your site credible enough to rank for that, to compete for that phrase? Right? So you've got to know your domain authority, look it up using the Moz bar, or email me and I'll email it back to you. And don't expect to rank for a phrase if it's outside your competitive set, right? Got to punch within your weight class. There we go. Don't expect the highest, that's a slightly different lesson. This is new. Rand just published this, Rand Fishkin published this, I think, a week ago. Mark, have you seen this? According to a survey of 1,500 SEOs, relevance is now a stronger search ranking factor than authority. Yeah, he just published that. He's like, we always said authority was the most important search ranking factor, links, the most important search ranking factor. The answer now, SEOs are saying it's more likely relevance, like the page itself. Here's and by the way, according to that same survey, the SEOs don't even think that it's the same search ranking factors across different industries. The game is different depending on the key phrase. What's important for ranking for Super Bowl tickets is going to be different than Chicago bars. It's not like one Google anymore. So it's like different neighborhoods. You're trying to win in each different neighborhood. Here's my shortcut for you. If your domain authority is in this range, target longer phrases. If it's in a bigger range, target shorter phrases. That's the idea. Make sense? Cool. Okay, we're going to power. So that was kind of technical, but it's a really important thing. I think you guys can use that as you research key phrases. Just if you're targeting a phrase and it's going to be published on a lower domain authority website, just choose a longer, more specific phrase, even like a complete question. That doesn't mean that you always have to publish on a lower domain authority website. If you want to target a more competitive key phrase, go right for some famous website. Bloggers are not trapped on one website. can write for whoever you want, right? Go borrow someone's basketball team. That makes sense. I'm confusing myself too. I know, it sounded weird. It's formatting. Get everything right, get this wrong, and you'll fail. You have to format your content to be scannable because people do not read. You accept that. It's not weird. We don't read either. It's not them, it's us. If studies that show the average time on page compared to the average reading speed compared to the average number of words, you can see the people are reading maybe 28% of words, maybe more like 20%. So this is death in digital. Never, never do that. The problem is that it's not scannable. We should make content very scannable. We should add subheads to make sure our content's scannable. Anyone heard of Basecamp? Yeah, Jason Fried's the founder of Basecamp. He makes this excellent point. Short paragraphs get read, long paragraphs get skipped, very long paragraphs get skimmed. Don't write long paragraphs unless you don't want someone to read it. Maybe it's legal jargon and your terms and conditions. If you want someone to ignore something, just put it in a long blocky paragraph, they'll totally skip it. It works 100% of the time. Internal linking is an opportunity. I recently wrote an article about bounce rate. Could I link to this from other articles? Have I ever written about this before? I go to site:/web address, and Google shows me every page that I've ever written that mentions that topic. See? It's called a search operator. Site:/web address is now, I'm just searching that website. Space, quote, bounce rate. I've published 59 articles on bounce rate already. Now I can go back and link to my new article from some of these old articles. Very few bloggers remember to do this. A lot of bloggers say, oh, I link to old stuff when I publish a new article. Everyone does. Every article should link to other articles. Every article should link to a service page. But every article should be linked to from, every new article should be linked to from an older article. 5% of bloggers? Maybe. Almost everyone forgets this. You're not done publishing something, your job is to promote it, right? It's a promotion job. You're not done publishing something new until you've linked to it from something old. Question?
Can there be too many internal links on an article page?
Can there be too many internal links on an article page? Depending on the CSS and the formatting, it might add a lot of visual noise.
Yeah.
I've seen it where it's kind of like, blue and bold and underlined, and you're trying to read and it sort of interrupts the visitor. So that could be a potential cost. I don't think there's like an SEO downside to linking too much. I add them when it's useful for the visitor. And if your thing is just like a link fest, I mean, be sensitive. Probably not more than one per paragraph. I kind of made that up, but it seems like there is probably a point where visually it'd be annoying. Yeah. Question?
Sorry for that previous point. You're saying, let's say you write an article on management, and I've written an old article on time management.
Sure.
You're saying go back to my time management article and link to my new article, or vice versa?
No, go back to the old article and link to the new article right after you publish it. So her question is, I'm writing a new article about energy management. I wrote an old article about time management. The opportunity would be to link to the new article, energy management, from the old article about time management, assuming it mentions time energy. Yeah, so this will help you find them all in 2 seconds. This will show you every URL on your domain that uses those words energy management. You're not going to turn 59 of these into internal linking opportunities, but you're going to find a couple. It's good for SEO, passes authority between your pages. It's good for readers. It's part of my template. I would just always do that. Why not? I mean, it costs nothing. Yeah. So these are ways to format. So we build websites. Like a third of our clients, we ask them what websites they like. They say apple.com. Why do they like apple.com? Oh, because it's got a clean, modern design. Unpack that. What do they mean by clean, modern design? White space. They like white space. People like white space. Designers know you need to add white space, but writers didn't get the memo. Writers need to add white space too. The white space button says return on it. Just hit the return key more. You'll be adding more white space. Your content will be easier to flow. Write some one-word sentences. Write some one-sentence paragraphs. Make it easy to flow. And definitely add subheaders, bullet lists, numbered lists, bolding, italics, internal links, and add multiple images. Multiple images. So let's segue into the images thing because that's totally the game. This part is a little basic for you guys. I'm going to skip to the images thing. So Content with images gets shared more on social, like Facebook. They get shared more on social, Twitter and Facebook. So use an image, use this image. Never use that image. I hate that image. That is the worst image next to this one, which is the worst. That's the worst image, right? It's just a terrible. But like, I should put balancing rocks in this presentation. That's a classic. How about this? The ethnically ambiguous teen. Yep, got that in there. Add an image of the impact, something unexpected, right? Add this image. Into every article, add this image. You will win digital. Like, it's so much better. My friend puts it this way. This is from Brian Massey. He says, if you can't write a caption for it, it's a stock photo. There's your test, right? Go look at that picture. Does it add any value? Question.
Just wondering what the caption would have been for the previous image.
I guess you'd have to make it, yeah. Anyone want to write a caption for this one? That's a social media caption contest. What would be the article if we were trying to like, yeah. Have children's shows gone too far? Yeah. Look who's in the audience. This is definitely like a cosplay party, like convention. These people are into it. I want to meet these people. Yeah. Actually, I just always want to, I try to work that into stuff, and it doesn't really fit. I get it. It just really shoehorn that in there. If you guys accepted it, thank you. We're moving on from it. Faces, though, are very powerful. Faces grab attention. Babies look at faces more than any other image. We are, from the time we're born, we just gaze at faces. The other thing that works well is to take, if it's the featured image or it's a social image, to put the headline into the image. The two things that social images should have, or Facebook custom, or YouTube custom thumbnail should have, is a face and an image.
So even social, because I heard that for other people on social media, is that, so if I have an Instagram account and the image name is 1276, that's bad, right?
Oh, the image name on the
Yeah,
file?
I thought that's what you meant.
Oh, I mean to overlay onto the image the headline of the article. Like this. Well, here's a better example. Well, I'll use this. So I don't care that I look exhausted or drunk. I'm just gonna take a screenshot from the video, smush myself over there, scale a few pixels so I've got more room, type on top of it, because the face is going to capture the attention of the visitor, and the words will give you a reason to click. It's a cost-benefit calculation happening in the mind of your visitor. And the face alone is just insufficient information to decide whether or not to click. Right? It's a very competitive context. Looking at these, so I ranked how to improve your Google ranking. So I've got a YouTube video that ranks like super high for this phrase. What I've learned though, looking at this, what am I missing? Brian Dean, Neil Patel, there I am, there's Brian Dean. Any way I could improve it? My YouTube thumb? Smile. Good tip. Definitely. Thank you, Robert. I should smile. It's not a bad idea at all. Mine is by far the least vivid. Look at the color. Right? I'm losing this war. Right? They're millions of views on some of these, hundreds of thousands of views on some of these posts. But faces draw attention. Have you seen this before? My friend Ali is sick of this example, but it's an easy one to show. Baby looks at the camera, you look at the baby. Baby looks at the headline, you look at the headline. Because shooting out of the eyes of every image you've ever seen is an invisible arrow that is pointing you in that direction. We are empathetic humans, and if someone's looking in a direction, you're going to look in that direction. Right? Photo editors and magazines and newspapers have always known this, and you'll never open a magazine and see someone looking off the page of the magazine. They just don't do it. You have to look back, you're trying to guide their attention back. You're trying to create a movement of the eye. They look at the baby, then they look at the headline, right? You can just imagine how that would work. The body language, the tilt of the shoulders, the angle of the head. Also, there's an important thing here. If you want to show emotion in a face, which is the game, you need to get closer to the face to see the whites in the eyes. This was like a, I don't know, like a Napoleonic War, don't shoot till you see the whites of the eyes. Works for photographers today. Don't take the picture until you are close enough to see the whites in their eyes. Because that's when you're closer to the face, you'll be able to see emotion. If you're so far away that you can't see the whites in their eyes, you lose eye direction and a lot of other issues. So it should be simple, and so it looks good when it's small. You see how small those were? The headlines, you know what it's about, the face, so it conveys emotion. And then it's not just about a picture, it's about a picture at every scroll depth. This took me a long time to figure out. Make an article, give it a featured image. Lovely, insufficient. You need an image at every scroll depth. As you scroll down, look, there's a chart. Keep scrolling down, oh, there's a screenshot. Keep scrolling down, there's a video, and a contributor quote face, and another screenshot, and an example. I'm making sure that there is no scroll depth at which there isn't at least one picture. Because I live in fear that the visitor is going to leave. We all have to have that healthy fear that the visitor is going to walk away, right? So in a desert, there's a way to think of it. Images are like a desert, and images are like water. Give them a sip. Make sure there's no point at which you can scroll down to any point in any of your content. Sales pages, product detail pages, articles, how-tos, guides, testimonials, ebooks, case studies, whatever it is, right? So now, more than ever, this is also, it's a little early for my data because the data is coming back. It's now like 70% of bloggers are including more than one image. You can see the trend in our blogger survey year after year. I'm going to update these as soon as I get it in. Red shirts versus blue shirts. The red shirts, they go it alone. The blue shirts, they socialize the idea with a bunch of friends. They include people, faces, names in the article. Who do you think gets more social traction when these two posts go live? Because the blue shirt added what's called ego bait. You put people in your content. There's faces and names, right? They're contributors. A journalist would never write an article without a source. Why would a blogger write an article without a contributor quote? Why would you ever write an article without a contributor quote? This is kind of an overstatement, but I believe we are now in a post-single POV world. It's really, really hard to get traction on any article if you've got only one voice in it. Put people in your content. There should be faces and names and job titles. This is where the thought leader can actually work. If your content, the opinion is so strong that it stands on its own without a contributor, that's like thought leadership. That's what you've got to get to. So everyone knows, content optimized for search includes keywords. No dispute, put your target key phrase in title, header, body text. But content optimized for social includes people. If there aren't people in it, you did not optimize it for social. Right? That's content optimized for both. So yeah, you can put different people, you can just mention them and then tell them you mentioned them. Not ideal. They weren't collaborating with you. You just stuck their thing in there and told them later. Far better, and I do this literally every single article. Sometimes I have Amanda to help me with it, and I don't have one for my next article, so you couldn't bust me if my next article doesn't. But look, if you look at our content on orbitmedia.com, it'd be very hard to find anything I've written that doesn't have another point of view in it, going back years. Contributor quote, expert roundup, guest post, and the deep dive interview. Those are all collaborative formats for content. 6 questions for 6 email marketing experts. This is so easy, it's like cheating. Go to Answer the Public, put in your topic, it'll show you the top questions for the topic. Go to social media, which is like a giant phone book, find the most relevant people on the topic and email them the question. They email you back the answers, copy, paste, you've got a bunch of different perspectives on the same piece of content, on the same questions. Or this one. I kept a list for like a year on ideas for getting more value from an event. We're at an event, kind of relevant. So I included Nick Westergaard and Shayla Price and Heidi Cohen and Emily Cremay in this article. I reached out to people to ask them for their conference tips. So as you scroll down, you can see there's Sujan Patel, there is Steve Garfield, there is Carrie Gorgone, there's Kelly Huberford, there's Barry Feldman. It is a way better article because I have all these people in it. Article goes live. I have this reminder to reach out to these people to tell them it went live. I didn't even need to do that because they're all sharing it before I even knew it was live. I found that it was live because they were talking about it. The article is a party. It's like a party. So I've answered this question. How many people are waiting for your article to go live? That number must be greater than 0. Really tough to get traction if the moment that appears in the world is the first moment that anyone expected it to appear. It's like you didn't finish stacking the deck. Right? Very hard to do. There's no ego bait. You can see how they're all promoting it. This is another way to think of it. An ally in creating content is an ally in promoting that content. Why would you want to publish content without having that ally in it? That article was shared 1,200 times. You get the idea. If you're not making friends, you're doing it wrong. it should work like this. When you, as you keep going in content marketing and you go to analytics and look at the friendship report, that line should be going up and to the right. See how it starts to increase there in January, and we'll make more friends, kind of levels out. Joke slide, there's no friendship report in analytics, I wish. Wouldn't that be cool? The best things in life just aren't in analytics, right? It's totally, the karma is not there, right? Relationship capital, fun. Look at, this is when I published the article and my fun started to spike right then. It goes up at that point. You can see I'm having more fun as soon as the article goes live. I think this might be almost like one of the final tips. The red shirt versus blue shirt. The red shirt just keeps writing on their own domain, publish, publish, publish. The blue shirt pitches an article to an editor. That article goes live, it links back to them, that's the arrow, the dotted line. And they get a post from another person, another expert, right? Multi-POV content. So they got more content associated with their brand. Round two, the blue shirt's building a social network. They're building their personal brand. They are growing their authority through links. They're growing their social traction through their network. Round four, nice blog, buddy. This is where the blue shirts always win. They're not stuck on their own site. They're writing for everyone. I pitched a guest post this morning before I finished my coffee. I've been working on it for a couple weeks. It's like my least favorite analytics report. It's kind of a snarky angle. You know, things to it. I hate bounce rate. Bounce rate's a ridiculous metric. Ignore it. So do people write guest posts? Most do sometimes. A third of bloggers never write guest posts at all. Missing out. Red shirt, right? To this day, a third of my articles are still guest posts. It's PR. Why would I ever stop doing that? That would be a weird idea for me to stop putting my content in front of larger audiences. It makes me a better writer. Working with editors, it's like free training. Very valuable. So this is the wrap up. What's in it for me? Great copy is never written, it's assembled. That's from copywriting legend Eugene Schwartz, who wrote Breakthrough Advertising. Very expensive used book to buy on Amazon, but totally worth reading. I'm going to put it together now with an example. A friend of mine asked me to review a piece of content and share ideas. I'm going to do it with you together. What you need to know, this is a website for parents of teenagers. What you need to know about dual enrollment. Anyone know what dual enrollment is? Me neither. What's in it for me? It's not winning the cost-benefit calculation of my brain. I'm not really like to click on this because it's not 100% of the audience doesn't know, me included, what that means. The answer's buried there. It's your teenager has a chance to earn college credits before they start college. Well, that's cool. A lot of benefits to that. It's going to save money, save time. Let's try this. I reread the headline. We make a new image. She made it. She overlaid the text for the headline into the image. If this gets shared now, the visitor who sees it in social will have a better reason to click. There's a new way to save on college tuition costs. I'm promising something specific. Right? I'm going to win the ROI calculation in their brain. That's my idea. But we still got a problem. Look at those long blocky paragraphs. Remember, long paragraphs get skimmed. Very long paragraphs get skipped. We need more white space. Ah, much better. And it's still playing with the headline. The hidden way to save thousands on college tuition. Should have put some trigrams in here. It's called dual enrollment. Right? You can see it's called dual enrollment, and it can save your family thousands of dollars. And the classes are usually free formatting. I'm going to start a numbered list down here. Look. Internal link, bolding, numbered list. You can see, what is dual enrollment, question mark? And I'm getting closer to 15 words. How do I get college credits in high school? That one's built for search because I know people are searching for what is dual enrollment, right? This content is now optimized for search. Okay, I'm getting spammier by the minute. Free college credits, question mark. 5 steps to saving thousands on tuition. Get the idea? Yeah. What's in it for me? And then I've got one final slide, guys, one final tip. That is the game. That's my best advice. Just whatever it is, whatever the topic is, just keep going with it. Just make it, just work harder at it. Reach out to experts, add some quotes, add some statistics, add more formatting, add more images, add more length, more detail, answer more questions. Go make it the most thorough piece you possibly can. Make at least a couple of super long form pieces on your site. It'll give you something to link back to. It'll give you just something to show editors when you pitch writing for their other websites, right? That's the ultimate advice would for sure be to make the best piece of content on the internet. That's all I got. Well done, guys. You did it.
Do time for any questions?
No, minutes before I'm getting on the blue line. If anyone wants to go to Vegas, we're flying United tonight. Question. No, I've never flown business class.
You always wear a blue jacket when you talk about blue jeans.
No, but that's a great reference. I spoke at Content Marketing World where everyone wears orange, and my idea was to wear a contrasting color. If I go to a conference where everyone wears orange, I'm definitely going to wear blue. That's the opposite color on the color wheel. Remember high school art class? But no, that's a good, maybe I should use that. I pack like a dork. When I travel like this, I'm gone for like 24 hours. Just socks and underwear in that bag and a toothbrush. That's it. Not even a carry-on, it's a personal item. So I'll be wearing this tomorrow, so I have it on today.
What color are your socks?
My socks are red. I've worn only red socks for 25 years. Personal branding.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for that extra question. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Find me online. I'm happy to answer any questions online anytime.
Before you go, we have 3 things.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, first of all, I want to give our hosts, Active Campaign. We are here at Active Campaign. Does anyone know what Active Campaign is? Beautiful office. They are, it's an email provider and a contact marketing program that I've been using for a while in sales funnels and marketing funnels, and they've been gracious hosts for a very long time, so let's give them a big round of applause. And then secondly, next week we have a social, it's a party at SX Sky Bar, which is at 808 South Michigan. Is anyone registered yet? Cool, yay. I will send everyone a code for a free ticket. If you're already registered, you can bring a friend. So that's great. And then the last thing, very important, there's lots of cannolis that are left. So if you want to grab one when you are on your way out the door or something else, do so. And thanks again for coming. We're going to send a survey out tomorrow. We'd love to know what you think. Thanks.